Can I introduce you to Mr. Walter Salisbury, an ex-worker and a worker who spent a great part of his life in this very building. Walter, over to you.
Hello everybody. I must say, I didn't volunteer for this, I was Shanghai. I was to tell you 3 stories which are well related in the group, how I started and so forth. But I left school age 14 in Easter 1943. And I was looking for work, and I tried a couple of jobs working on farms that weren't suitable. My mother was a crane driver on the works. She drove the crane in the blast furnace, the fitting shop and 10-inch mill. And the time I left school, she was working in the 10-inch mill. Anyway, she came home and she said to me, there's 2 vacancies in the masons department. They want apprentice bricklayers. But you have to get a green card from the labour office, or the door office was called then. So down I goes and asked the fella, asked the clerk, I said to him about the green card. No, he said, the jobs have gone. So I came home again. About a fortnight later, my mother came home again. She said, there's a job in the foundry. They want an apprentice moulder. The lad that's leaving is going to the 10-inch mill, so there's a vacancy. I go down again, ask for the green card, and the fella says to me, there's no vacancies in Brymbo. So I say, yes there is. There's a lad leaving. He's going to work at 10-inch mills. They want another apprentice moulder. How do you know? He said. Oh, me 14. Well, my mum told me. She works there. Anyway, they give me the green card and I come to Brymbo and I get a job. 50 hours a week, £1.03 and 6 wages. What? It was a job. It was a start. First job we had was making cores for ingot moulds. That job had to be finished by midday. After midday, you were free to do whatever you wanted. And I used to latch myself onto the furnace man working in the far cubicle. Charlie Williams by name. I got quite friendly with him and he taught me how to work the furnace. And sometimes, if they were short-handed, I would help him all day. There came a Friday, and the foreman come to me, he said, you know how to work the furnace? I said, yeah, I've been taught. He said, we want to work on Saturday and Charlie can't work. Will you work the furnace? I said, well, I can't. At that time, I was 15. 15, had a 4 shilling rise, I was on £1.76 a week. Anyway, he goes away and he comes back and he said, I've seen the management, I've had permission, you can work. He said, if you work, they'll give you an extra 10 shillings. Oh, that was great. 50 pence. Anyway, the only bad part of it was you had to come in by 6 and work till 4 on a Saturday. And a long walk from Grosselt. Anyway, done the job, we finished. And we're cooling the furnace off. And the foreman comes to me, he says, there, lad, I am glad you worked, he said. We'd have been stuck without you. He went in his pocket and gave me half a crown. Anyway, time went on, and unfortunately, my mother passed away in 1946, so I left the foundry to go live in Rochdale. And I was there for 12 months. My father decided we should go live in Rochdale, so we went there, my sister and whatever. After 12 months, he decided he was going to London to work. So my sister and I came back to the area, and I come back to Brymbo and had my job back. So I started work again. That was April 1947. That time I was 18. There came a new moulder working in the foundry. His name was Reuben Griffiths. and I worked through him quite a lot, and he used to aggravate me. He used to say, when are you 21? Because at that time you worked a 7-year apprenticeship and you didn't get them all full money till you were 21. He said, when are you 21? So I'd say so. And he said, I'll take you to Rio when you're 21. He said, I'll adopt you. And he used to tell all workers this, that he was going to adopt me when I was 21. Anyway, we went on a trip to Blackpool to see the lights. That was September 1949. I was going with my mate, Graham. We got on the bus. Pence Broughton, he sat in the seat nearest the door, and I sat next to him. And a lad named Frank was in the other far corner. We were on the back seat, you see. And so there was a seat at the side of me. The last pickup was Reuben, and his daughter who was in school. Anyway, when we picked Reuben up in the green in the bottom, he said to his daughter, "You'll go sit there." Sat beside of me. He said, "I'll go and sit by Ozzy in the front." Anyway, I said, "This is no schoolgirl." Apparently, his daughter in school got tonsillitis. How unfortunate. So I had this young lady said, "Well, you have to be sociable, don't you?" Got quite chatty. Got to Blackpool, 4-hour trip. When we got to Blackpool, I said to her, "You don't want to go with your dad walking about, you want to come with us?" That was Graham, me, and this young lady. Her name was Ivy, by the way. Go up the tower, have a look round. You know, the tower is good view. After we'd finished, tried to come down, get in the lift. As they took the brakes off, the lift dropped a couple inches. There was a squeal from the young lady and she had her arms around my neck. Well, Ivy, it sticks. We got married following June 1950. So I was in Reuben's family and I was 21. Well, after that, and I was made foreman of the foundry in the mid-1960s. Position I held until the foundry closed on the 6th of September 1985, and the foundry ceased iron production. All men went around the works, different departments, doing whatever they were doing, and I was left here by myself. So I worked for 5 years making non-ferrous castings. That's brass, bronze and aluminium, until the final closure in 1990. I used to have help from the blacksmiths to cast with a 200-pound pot in a small furnace that was down here. I worked in this area by myself. When the news come that we were finishing, I went around the works, all the top shops here, say so long to all my friends I had worked with for many years. But at that time, the 28th of September, I was the only one that was finishing up here. The rest finished when the works closed down. But I finished when the melting shop finished. That was my lot. So I went round, said so long to all my mates. I'd made some little castings of the John Wilkinson sign, which I handed out as gifts, as keepsakes. Anyway, I came back in. Oh, there was one fella, I went down to see everybody else, but one fella came to see me. Colin Jones, he was the son of the foreman that was here when I started. And he said to me, "What does it feel like to retire, Walter, after all these?" I said, "Well, you have to retire sometime. It's inevitable." But he said, "Tell me, how does it feel like to possibly be the last man that ever worked on a John Wilkinson site?" And I just said, "Well, that's very sad." And that's my story. When after I'd spoken to him, I came back and I stood by my bench over there, and I was wearing, people would know me by wearing one of these. Inevitable. So on the last day, I spoke to Colin, I came back up, and I stood by my bench. I had to look round for the last time. The door was locked. So I was doing what the last person in every place should do. I turned up the lights and I closed the door. And that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it.
Walter, when are you ready? Okay, everybody who's brought a hat with them.
Of course they do.
Your wagon's coming in. Is it? Yeah. I used to work with us, didn't you? Yeah. Could be no good, yeah. Come back. Okay, yeah. You give me that. Yeah. I know well done, sir. I know where that's going. I still got mine somewhere. The kids used it. Happy problems with you. Yeah. I know where that will go.
You doing it, right?
Yeah, right.
Take care. See you.